Good morning and welcome. I'm Bob Pace, your host, and I want to welcome you all to Fighting CPS and Getting Your Children Back. Now, most of you um, are listening in because you're trying to find out some information about what is CPS or what they do or where they are. CPS is Child Protection Services. It's a branch of social services and is supposed to protect our children from abuse and neglect. It's also supposed to do family reunification. That's when some parents maybe had some hiccups and something went wrong with their children. But something that is very horrific and very, hard position. I've been doing this for 14 years involved with CPS, and I only had 3 years of active, meaning that when they took my children, I had to fight to get them back. But it's a horrible experience. I know it firsthand, and I've talked to over 100 people across the country that have experienced something similar, and it's not a pleasant thing to go through. Um, what you want to do is you can participate in the show one of several ways. One way is you can text a comment about your CPS case or what question you need answered, or if you want to share something about the CPS case, I can post your comment so everybody can read it and maybe can help out others. But I do need you to put your name, the city and state you're from, and if you're from a country, that's fine too. I'll welcome you from countries too. The country and the city there. Um, there have been several countries that have been listening in, and they have similar problems with CPS that most of you have, and I have had. So they're welcome too. I welcome everybody. And then you want to put down your allegations, the children involved. If you have a partnership, a marriage, a spouse, or whatever, you want to list that too. And so that way I can maybe help you, and others can maybe help you too. They're listening in. So it's very important you write comments. You can also express yourself through thumbs up or love. There's those kinds of comments you can make there. And I want to hear about you. I want to help you and so forth. If you are really anxious about wanting to talk, say, hear me talk, I'm great. I'd love to have you as a guest. All you have to do is call in my work number, 626 698 0990. That phone is active during the hour of the show. Now, I do this 14 times a week, twice a day, one in the morning, one at night. And it's 10 o'clock in the morning for an hour and 7 o'clock at night for an hour, Pacific Standard Time. The only difference is on Sunday, I start a half an hour later because of another show. So, I do this because I want to help others. I want to help you. I care about you as a person, and you're important. Your children are important, and you are a parent, and you need some help. It's really hard out there. It's really not the greatest thing to have there. But anyway, you can call in to 626 698 0990, and that's my office number, and I'll put you on speaker and you'll be live and you can talk about your case. Now, if you're not ready to talk and you'd like to talk at a later date, you can call my other office number, 888-582. When you call that number, you want to say Bob Pace sent you, and then you want to um, schedule your time, one of those 14 shows. Just pick a Monday evening, a Tuesday morning, Sunday evening, whatever. You got 14 shows to pick from to be a guest on, and it's really great. So I really love to have you as a guest. We had a guest scheduled for this morning, and sometimes things like internets don't work or something else comes up that is more important. But imagine we'll hear from the guest eventually if they come on or they come on another time. Now, you're embarking on a road of, I don't know how else to describe it to you, of pain, heartaches, disappointment, and frustration with an agency that is supposed to protect our children, supposed to do family reunification. And I regret to tell you that in my case, and I'm in Southern California, my CPS, my Child Protection Services, was extremely bad and awful. They stole my children, and there seemed to be a good knack at stealing the children with ruses, deception. They're not transparent. They lie. Um, they do everything beneath the sun, and their whole goal, in my case, was to make money. They get a lot of money every month, and the more children they have in, the more money they can make. So their goal is to have them in there and have them in foster care. And they don't care if the allegations are true or not, because the problem is when allegations are called in either by a lay person or professional person, the social worker believes them to be true, and they will end up investigating you. They have to by law in 24 hours. And then you got to prove you're innocent. You got to show them that what the alleged has done is not true. And you don't want to take away your children. You don't want to take away your children. Um, that's one thing. That's a no-no. So I want to tell you about rule number 1. And this is the most important rule. It's going to be hard for you because you don't have money. And I know that money is a lot of your problems. I've been there. I know the experience. I had lost a job. I'd run through my retirement, ran through my savings, ran through my inheritance. With no job, I was even homeless for a period of time. So if I've experienced it all, I've experienced what it is to feel homeless, to feel helpless, to feel frustrated. And I wish I'd known about this rule number 1. You're probably asking yourself, what is rule number 1? Well, rule number 1 that I make is that I tell you, first of all, if you're going to get involved with CPS, your first step is to contact an attorney. The reason why I'm saying that, if you're going to have open heart surgery, then you're going to get a doctor to do it. You're not going to try to do it yourself. You're not going to get a lay person to do the surgery. You're going to get a doctor, a professional. Well, that holds true because CPS is like open heart surgery. It's very complex. There's a lot of laws and a lot of things. And the hard thing about them, they're very deceptive, meaning that they're corrupt. They're in this for $1 billion business, in my case in Southern California. And over 100 people I've talked to seem to do a similar thing. They need to take the children. They need to get them adopted into social services or in foster care. And with that being said, you need an attorney that can navigate, that knows CPS, that knows how to fight CPS, that's won cases against CPS. You need that attorney, a professional dependency attorney. It's a family law attorney, a juvenile attorney. You need someone that knows how to work with children, because the most precious thing in your life is your children. You wouldn't be calling in if you didn't care about your children. And so I hope some of you do text messages or call in that wants to be on the show. Now, this attorney I'm talking to is part of a law firm. This law firm, Vincent W. Davis Associates, has many legal attorneys for a lot of different legal matters. And they're based in Southern California. This attorney that helped me was Vincent W. Davis. He's a professional dependency family law attorney. He knows how to get juveniles back, your children back. He's done that. He's fought CPS. He's won cases against CPS. In fact, he's a trial attorney. He knows a lot about the family codes and about the social services, child protection um, services, which is a part of the social services. You're in luck. He's offering a free consultation for a half an hour up to an hour, where he will talk to you about the strategies of fighting CPS and getting your kids back. He is very, very knowledgeable, and he will help you. And you've got to take advantage of this free consultations. Normally, the consultations are not free, and he is offering this free service. All you have to do is call in that second number, 888-888-6582, and tell them that Bob Pace sent you and that you want to schedule your time for a free consultation with Mr. Davis. Now, what's below my screen right now is a ticket that shows a website where you can find Mr. Davis's schedule. That way, you want to check there first before you make one, because you gotta figure out the time and the date that you can meet with him. But it'd be well worth the meeting. He will talk to everything. He'll strategize how to beat CPS and how to get your kids back. You can't go wrong with that. In fact, you like him, you may want to retain him after your meeting with him. But I know that there's circumstances you can't come up with the money, and it's understood. But you're going to have a long road fighting with a public defender. Let me tell you what the difference between public defenders and a professional attorney are. Public defenders usually are fresh out of law school. They have very little experience. Plus, they're picked by social services, and they're actually controlled by social services. So they really don't have your best interests. They're going to have social services interests. They do have social service attorneys, but it seems like the public defenders, the social service attorneys, and even the judge are friends and the social worker, meaning that they go out and socialize. My judge was far from being qualified. He was, his only legal background was how to deal with automobile claims and collisions and those kinds of things. And it is really, really, really hard to deal with that agency. It's one of the hardest things you ever do in your life. And that's why you have to think about maybe flying in. I mean, you want to come in, and talk to Mr. Davis. I don't mean physically fly, but I'm saying arrange that appointment. Also, when you talk to Mr. Davis, make sure you mention that Bob Pace sent you. It's very, very important when Bob Pace sent you and everything like that. It's one of those things that you never thought in your life that you encounter. And I did not know anything about CPS. I didn't know anything that this agency, and they were so corrupt. I did not know that. I was so buffaloed and fooled. They're not transparent. They don't have any accountability of what they're doing. They're not even professionally trained. My social worker that was handling my case didn't have a college degree, didn't have a certificate or license to do anything. And all she was interested in is the bonus money that they get. So that's where she'd talk about her Gucci purse, or she'd talk about her makeup, her clothing, those kinds of things, because she was able to get all those things through the aid that social services does. Well, I found out that I thought this thing, they say that it's going to be done in 45 days after the initial investigation. But mine was 3 years. It's not 45 days. And they kept prolonging it. They got 3 years of social services money out of my kids. 3 kids times, there's 52. There's 12 months a year, so that's 36 months. They got all that money. I'm talking well over $20,000 that is given to each child. They get $60,000 times 36 months. That's a lot of money. It doesn't cost that much to take care of a child. And they're strictly going to buffalo you and deceive you and taking your children away. That's their sole motive. They don't even think about family reunification or bringing people together, families together. They don't think anything like that at all. All they want to do is destroy your life, and they did with me. They destroyed it so bad. My life was going through a perfect storm. I mean, in 2007, the banks were collapsing because so many predatory loans, and those are loans that the income is jacked up and the information changed, so they get you qualified to get that home. Plus, also they get a benefit because they get the percent of award for taking that case on. It's terrible. It is so terrible. Um, I should first start. I said about rule number 1. I should go through my rules too. Another rule that you want to be aware of is rule number 2. Um, okay. What city and state are you from? I got our first comment that wanted an answer on a question here. Arabella, I don't know what state or city you're from, but she wanted some information before your first court appearance. Now, your first court appearance is your dependency court appearance. That court is dependency court, which is a branch of your superior court. It's strictly to deal with your case and other cases too. It's going to be jam-packed with a lot of cases all day long. There is a judge. There will be your attorneys for all the social workers. If there's 2 social workers, there'll be 2 attorneys. Each social worker gets an attorney. There may be a psychiatrist or some other additional people there, maybe a CASA person, and that is a court appointed service point advocate that helps you. Each child gets one, each parent gets one. There'll be your public defenders or your attorneys. Hopefully you got a real attorney or a public defender. That's for each parent. And then you got your bailiff that keeps order in the court, and then you got your clerk. And to me, it was a very sterile, very sad atmosphere because the judge that I got had no background in family matters. His background was in car repairs and collision claims and all about cars. He knew nothing about family or family reunification or anything like that. So what they have to put on, they have to show the judge evidence that they can take your children and that you're guilty of whatever your allegations were. Now, I don't know what your allegations are. Era, if you could tell me your allegations and what city and state from, that would help me. Now, Rule number 2 is something that you want to start right away. Not only should you contact an attorney, you need to take notes. You need to get yourself a notebook, and that notebook should be devoted to nothing more than your CPS case. Each line item should be a date and time that the event happened and who is involved, the names of the social workers, the names of the police, any firemen, whatever it was that was there, they're placed in next. You got the date and time and then the people that were involved. And then you should have what the incident was about, such as coming into my home or taking my children or wherever the incident was. Then you want to have a follow up of how that incident came out. You may not be able to answer it right away in the beginning, and you have to maybe think about it um, later on down there because the thing that you may have the incident on may not finish in one day. It may take 2 or 3 days or a lot longer. Now, Arabella, if you can answer me, that would be great. Um, I'm trying to help you there. So you want to take good notes because they'll be useful because your case may go longer than 48 days. It may go longer than a year, 5 years. I've heard cases 8 years. So they'll keep dragging it on. If the child is young, they want to get that money to they reach 18. They want that money for other alternative methods. And that's sad. That's really, really, really sad. So I said to get an attorney, get a notebook. The third rule I want to tell you about is you do not talk to social workers. It's sad, but you need to have your attorney present or have your vice attorney, whether you can talk to or not. Basically, one short answer is all you need to do. Yes, no. Yes, no. You don't need to go into any details about anything. You're not required to uh, do that. So you don't want to say anything to the social worker. You don't want to be their friend. You're going to find out the agency you thought was honest was no good. And then also, they're going to want to go in your home, and that's a no no. You don't want them to go in your home. And they're going to try to. They're going to try to use all kinds of deception to get in that home. And on top of that, when they do, get in the home, then your case is going to be wide openly torn apart. I mean, it's going to be really more disaster than not. Um, there is something called a warrant. A warrant is a document that is signed in a court that where a policeman or a social worker want to remove the children. So they have to have a warrant. And don't let them buffalo and say they have a warrant it's Saturday or Sunday because judges don't work on the weekend. There's no signature. Because it's got to be signed by the judge. The judge is the one that, with based on the evidence that the agency's given them, is making a determination. But if you don't have a qualified judge in that office, you're going to be an uphill battle dealing with somebody that thinks they're qualified, but they're not. Um, all this is going to happen before your court date. You need to look professional. Hopefully, you can be inside the whole time your case be discussed. In my case, I never had. The only time I came in to talk about my case or be with my wife was to sign the case and be told how bad of a people we are. So it is hard out there. It's really, really hard. I know that you mean well, but maybe a hiccup came into play or something. I don't know. Um, Aria, Belly, if you could respond, that would be great. That would be good. Um, So I've told you about three important rules that you should follow: a lawyer, your notes, and not to talk to CPS. Even a policeman has to have a warrant to search your house, unless there's immediate danger of the kids. Let's say a shooting's going on and they want to make sure their safety is okay. But with the warrant, they could take your child away and they could also invade your home. And it has to be a fully executed warrant. It's got to be specific what they want to do, a specific address. So you want to definitely look that warrant over and so forth. But that's the only way they can get in your home. And that's the only way, the more you talk to the social workers, the more it helps fabricate their story. So again, that's a no-no. That's a no-no. And what you want to do is you want to uh, be prepared to fight in court. When you go there, hopefully you're entitled to be in court. I was denied being in court in my part in Southern California. So you're going to hear these people, and they're just going to be lying, and it's going to be very distressful, very, very disappointed on your, experience in the court without any kind of a lawyer. That's why they have a lawyer. They have a lawyer that's given on and then a follow-up phone call, and neither one of them happened in my case. I, like a fool, did not know the law, and so I allowed them in my home. I also thought I could be honest with them and tell them everything about my case, but that didn't seem to want to fly. It's also, I'm wondering, the other night I was thinking about, why are the police so interested in storming my home? And if I can make them, free, my children free, it would be so great. It'd be so great. It's very, very, very hard to talk about this at times because I lost one of my children. I had 6 children, 2 different families, and different dads, but I treated them all 6 of my children, like the real family. And I sorry that you're going through this. It's the most excruciating time for the court. Now, you got to have your list of stuff when you're with your attorney or public defender or professional attorney of how to dispute the charges. You should get what they're filing against you. If you don't have it, go to the county clerk at the court, ask for a copy. They'll gladly give it to you. They're going to try to charge money, but if you don't have it, then they'll still do it. So what I'm telling you right now is that you have to um, fight this, and you got to record all this, and you got to get that attorney to help you go from step A through step Z. And it is very, very hard. Now, Aria Belli, I still haven't seen the city or state. I don't know what your parents are. I'm trying to tell you the first court appearance. Not well tech. When CPS takes the kids from the mother, aren't they supposed to give the kids to the father? Are they allowed to refuse to give the kids to the father because they assume the father was not truthful? Technically, when the kids are taken, they're usually placed in a shelter or a hotel until they have a safety plan meeting where you, as a parent with the social workers, will determine if the child can be placed with either spouse or with the family members. Now, I don't know that much of your case there. I want to welcome you. I don't know what city and state you're from, not W Tech, but they're not supposed to. And let me put this up here. If the mother has the hiccups, they'll give it to the father. If there's no father, they're going to try to contact a biological father. And if he doesn't want to do anything, they'll just be with the mother there. So it's very terrible that and they got to make sure they're safe. If the father turns out to be bad, then they can't put the children over to the father. So then they do it the safety meeting, come up with a list of 10 relatives that the kids could stay at instead of at CPS's hands. That's a real positive thing for the children. Um, with that being said, is that your case in court will move around real slowly. It may take 3 or 4 sessions. What you need to do is that if you have a plan, it's all going to be a plan of what you need to do. If you've done some things already, you need to tell them that. There's a Form 388 that you can petition the court that if there's new changes to your case or you want to submit something that you completed a drug class or anyway, you use that form to fill out your request to the judge to open the case. And they in turn will help you out. Um, the court appearance, as I say, may be postponed. And the court, you want to dress nicely for court. You want to be your best Sunday outfit. You want to look professional in court. You don't want to argue with the judge or the attorneys are there. You want to make sure that your public defender or your lawyer that you hired is representing you. It's real key to it. You got to make a list with the allegations, and to the right of the allegations, you got to say whether or not true. It's very important. They got to have strong evidence to take children into custody. The thing about money is something that's brand new that they've been pursuing here, but they've become a very superior business. So that's why. Um, okay. So if the father's bad, they're not going to give the kids to the father. Also, they will try to contact the biological father. If he's not showing any interest, that could be a bad thing too. So, now, Tech, I need your city and state. Arabella, I need your city and state too. It'd be much appreciated. Um, in my case, the allegations were made that were false. As I told you earlier, allegations were made by lay people and by professionals. Professionals are required by law to report any abuse or neglect they see with the children they observe. They're supposed to call it in. Those professionals are like your doctors, nurses, policemen, those kind of individuals. So if they see a child that has been abused with bruises and marks, they're going to call it in. The only trouble is CPS takes it very seriously, which they should, and jumps overboard. Okay, no tech. You're in California. Are you in Northern California, Southern California? I was just trying to get the city because I know in my case was Orange County, and I know about LA County, but okay, no tech says you passed the home inspection, and I'm not in the report at all. It's all the mother. So are you the father? I'm a little confused here. What is the relationship with the kids? Um, it says that uh, it's all the mother. So previously you said Bakersfield. Okay, thank you, New Tech. Okay. When you said earlier, you said they take the kids from the mother. Aren't they supposed to give the kids to the father? Well, if you are the father that's calling in, and the answer is there's nothing wrong with you, they should. You said that they passed your inspection. I assume you live apart from the mother. Are you divorced? Are you still uh, a partnership or been living together? What it is, but they should have given it to you. Now, again, you need to get the attorney involved. It's your constitutional rights to be treated, you know, under the constitutional. There's your civil rights and constitutional laws, rights, constitutional rights and civil rights. And if there's nothing wrong with the father, then the kids do get put with the father until the mother can work out whatever her allegations were or stuff like that. Okay, it sounds like you're a military man. Thank you for your service. I'm proud that you're serving our country, and thank you for keeping our country safe. Um, you're on deployment, and you come back, and you find that the mother is abusing animals, not children and animals. Wow. I imagine animal control got involved there. Um, so that is kind of so bad. Um, she was taking the kids from her abuse. Now that you're back, you should be able to request the kids to be put in your custody. So, Father, you're right. You should be, if there's nothing wrong with you. Serving your country is an honor, and it's and I don't think anybody would hold you wrong or neglect of your children. But the children do need to be with either you or some family member until you come back, so they can have temporary custody of your children. But you, as the father, are entitled to your children when you're back, when you're in port. I don't know if you're in the Navy or the Marines, the Army, or the Air Force, but whatever your deployment is, when you return, you're entitled to have the kids with you, and um, and if you were still live at the home where the mother's living, you may have to find another place because they can't be there because the CPS has found that the mother's not fit to take care of the kids because she's abusing animals. And so that is a hard one. And so you're back. You can ask the court, and if you have an attorney, to make a request. You can file a 388. You can file a 38. Okay, you're separated. My attorney has filed an appeal because it violated my rights. Oh, sure. If they have not put them in there, they have to have the children in some type of care. Being in the military, I don't think you allow your dependents to go with you unless you're an officer, and a lot of the places they're serving are not made for dependents. So I do have a military background, so I know what you're going through. Um, being a um, stationed overseas, someplace not be there, but the kids got to be with somebody who can feed them, house them, clothe them, and take them to school and take care of their medical needs. So you have a right to request back, and when you're in your town, you can. Now, if you're separated from your wife, that's fine. There's nothing wrong with being separated. You just have to have the courts, and you have an attorney there. They can file what's called the 388. It's a petition that goes into court that says you have new changes. It alerts the judge, and they can change the plan. They can say, well, the father is home, the kids will remain with the father. When the father leaves, the kids can be remain with the grandmother or the uncle or the aunt, some family member you want to have your kids in. You do not want them in foster care. You don't want them in a group home. You don't want them in a shelter. So it's very important. You look at that Form 38 and you talk to your attorney about that. Well, that's fine. You didn't know that she's mentally unstable. That's a separate issue. You said you're separated, so you don't. I know you love your wife and you want to do what's best with her, but she has to fight her own demons and her own service there. But the kids cannot be with her. She was abusing the animals. The kids need to be with you, Dad, as a primary custodian, and then the secondary custodian could be your parents, your older brother, older sister. Even a close family friend could be considered. So you need to, as I say, file a 388 and tell them the changes or what the request you're trying to make. But you need to alert the judge, and the judge has to look at that. He has to look at that. So that's what you need to do. When you talk to your attorney, he should help you there. So is your attorney a public defender or a professional family law attorney? What is your attorney right now? If you could tell me. Well, again, thank you for your service. You're home now, so that should make it easy to get the kids back. Um, so, what kind of attorney do you have? Just a professional law attorney, like a family law attorney, a dependency attorney, juvenile attorney? For you that are listeners or come late in the room and so forth, you could call in to my number 626-698-0990 and speak live on the show. If you want to do this, Noah Tech from Bakersfield, California, that would be great. If you want to talk about your case live on the show, I'll put you on. Also, that rule number one I mentioned earlier on the show, you need to have an attorney. I mean, a professional attorney. Someone knows how to fight CPS and won cases and they have gotten children back. This attorney is Vincent W. Davis. He is a trial attorney. He's a family law attorney. He handles dependency cases, juvenile cases, and he's expert at what he does. He is offering a free consultation for 30 minutes up to an hour. And all you have to do is schedule a time with him. You want to call in to 888-888-6582. Ask to schedule your consultation with Mr. Davis. Make sure you tell him that Bob Pace sent you to the office there so they don't charge. And then when you see Mr. Davis, make sure that you mention my name. Bob Pace told me to tell you. And he is really good. He's offering this free time to strategize about how to fight CPS and how to get your children back. It's an hour that's going to be well worth listening to what he has to say. Again, I'm trying to find out what kind of attorney you have. Okay, he's a public defender. Sadly, to say public defenders, I know it's a money problem, that's why you have them, aren't that great. They've been just recently practicing law. They have a caseload of 20 or more people, and they're not going to be on your side. They're going to do everything they can to work against you. If you don't like the way the public defender is working, you can ask for another one or another one. But you should have no right. No, I mean, you should have no problem explaining to the court that you're home now. Okay. Hello. Who's this?
Hello, this is NOTW Tech.
Oh, hi. How you doing? I'm glad you called in.
I'm
It's a
alright.
little bit easier for you to talk on the phone,
Yeah,
and maybe I can help you better there. Is this public defender look like he's a good one?
he's actually one of the best ones in our county.
Okay.
But the problem is I hired Vincent Davis before, and Vincent Davis said no, he's not going to do it because our court system here in my county is so one sided. They don't care about anybody being doing whatever. They do it their way and their way only. So he said, no, I can't help you here. They're not. No matter how much money we have, how much time and effort we put into it, this judge will not allow us to do anything that's the right way. He called them out on all their all their public services that they're supposed to, their financial stuff they get, all their incentives they're getting for programs they're supposed to be offering these parents, and how they're not following it, and how their CPS people are not being trained properly, how they're just taking kids illegally, and the judge didn't want nothing to do with it. She just said, nope, you're not going to talk like that in our courtroom, and so he was just like, you're going to do nothing.
Did he mention about changing the venue? Change the
Yeah,
judge.
They wouldn't let him. They wouldn't let him speak. The judge told him to be quiet, otherwise she's going to have him, taken out of the courtroom.
Wow.
And he was mad.
Well, I could see. I mean, yeah, Vincent is very hard attorney. He's one of the best around, and I am really shocked to hear about it. Is this something recent?
Yeah, I'm currently going through it right now. So what had happened was 3 years ago, the mother and me separated, and I assumed that she was doing something to the children, but I couldn't prove it. So when we separated, I got the kids, and I filed a restraining order against the mom, and I got custody of the kids. Well, as time went on, she called CPS on me to get revenge at me, to get the kids taken away from me so she could get them, she thought. And so CPS went out and did an inspection. They said I was fine. There's nothing wrong with me. There's nothing they could do. So then, but she got them involved. So then one day goes, like a month goes by, and then she decides she wants to get her stuff together and act right again. So she wants to work things out for the kids to be a part of their lives. I said, that's fine. I'm not going to keep you from my kids. So then we're on our way to the Fresno Zoo, and CPS comes to do an unannounced visit, and she's in the car with my son. I'm upstairs changing my daughter's diaper because she went to the bathroom before we were going to go. And she's like, where's your son? I was like, well, he's in the car. And they were like, well, who's he in the car with? I was like, well, with the mom. Well, you can't have her with the mom. You have a restraining order against her. I'm like, yeah, so, but I dropped it. It was dismissed.
They're trying to get you on. They're trying to get you on Stickler thing. Wow.
Yeah, but that was from 3 years ago. So then after that happened, we completed all our classes. We got the kids back together to give us both custody. Then as I'm deployed, I started noticing all these animals that she was going through. Like, they were just disappearing. And I was like, what's going on? So I put up nanny cams. And when I had the nanny cams up, when I returned home from my deployment, I was going through the video footage, and I seen the animal abuse. And I sat her down on the couch, and I said, hey, we need to have a discussion. I need to get you some help. I cannot leave here anymore with these kids here with you anymore. It's not safe. And she blew up. Blew her top. She was like, I want a divorce. I don't want nothing to do with you. So I said, you know what, let's not argue about this in front of the kids. Let's wait till they go to school tomorrow. We'll discuss this tomorrow. She agreed. We calmed down. And so then the next day I wake up. She's gone. The kids are gone. She files a restraining order against me for domestic violence. And she gets custody of the kids that way. So I go to her mom's house with the sheriff department and with the videos of the animal abuse to say she cannot have those kids. Look at what she's doing. They said for me to call animal control. So I said, okay, fine. I called animal control. They came out, took a report, and then they told me that they're where the kids at now. I said they're with the mother. They said, no, they cannot be with the mother. She's a danger to them. So they called CPS, got CPS involved, and then CPS gave me a week to overturn her restraining order to get custody back to that way to the family court so they don't have to step in. But then before the deadline happened, they stepped in anyways and just took the kids from her because one of the neighbors called the cops on her for yelling at the kids or something. So then, because that a day that I had 3 years ago, their reasoning behind not giving it to me is because I supposedly had lied to them about the mother being around the kids 3 years ago whenever we first separated. And I was like, yeah, but I didn't have proof that she was doing anything to anybody. But now I have proof. I'm the one who came to you guys with the proof. I'm the one who provided the proof.
What kind of animal abuse was this?
He was killing that cat.
What do you mean killing the cat? Like,
she was beating him up and breaking her neck and throwing them into the ground.
Oh my goodness, great! You have all that on cam?
I have it all on camera. Yep, on nanny cam.
What kind of court system is Bakersfield there? Wow, you're going to have to go to the. Have you tried to go to the Superior Court? Which, see, CPS is a part of the Superior Court, and this is a criminal matter.
Right.
And I'm
So
surprised that animal rights. I'm surprised animal rights are not backing up on this, because it should be handled by a Superior Court, not dependency court, as far as the animal abuse goes.
Correct. And so what they ended up doing is they filed 2 felony charges of animal cruelty to her, and then the whole time the CPS court is telling my attorney and me that they believe that there's a ongoing dispute between me and the mother, like that the kids are in danger between both of us, because we're at warfare between each other. And I was like, how is that even possible?
Well, was there domestic violence? Did you end up fighting with the mother, or is it just all verbal?
No, it was never at all. I got it all dismissed. Every charge she tried to give me in trouble for was all dropped. The restraining order dropped. The judge said there was no evidence.
And you showed that to the dependency court? You showed that to the dependency court?
We did, and they said it doesn't matter. The family court and criminal court have no say over what juvenile court says. They have the ultimate. They're above.
No, the thing is, you may then have to contact the governor. You may have to contact Governor Newsom's their office and registered a strong complaint. Vincent is very, very busy, and I regret that he couldn't do much more for you, especially he's being paid. That surprised me, because he's a fighter. I never known him not to back down. Yeah. And it sounds like you need to get a higher ups involved, because there's corruption taking place, and you have to word it to such. You need to write a real lengthy letter, and if you can, transmit the video cams you got of the animal cruelty and all the negative things, the negative reports, put that package together, send it off to Governor Newsom, that this court down here is really, really bad. I don't know if the judge will listen to you in Superior Court, but Superior Court is over CPS Court. Dependency Court is a part of Superior Court. Do you know what I'm talking about, Superior Court? There's basically in our state, California, there is the Supreme Court of the state of California, and then there are the superior courts in each of the different cities and counties throughout California. And you may have to contract the Supreme Court of California too, to intervene, to shut down that Bakersfield court. But I'm surprised. Have you talked to the Superior Court of Bakersfield?
Yeah, and they told us that they have they can't overchange whatever CPS does. Whatever they do,
even if it's corrupt, even if it's corrupt. Yeah. Did you ask them? Did you ask them if I can't do anything with Superior Court? Yeah. Did you ask them? Could you go to the Supreme Court? Did you ask them that question?
They ended up sending us to the 5th Appeal District. Where I was given a new lawyer and a appeal lawyer, who then wrote a 39-page case law reference brief to the CPS court, letting them know how they violated not only my parental rights but also my civil rights, because they can't take kids based off of assumptions.
Well, no, you have two rights. You have your constitutional rights and you have your civil rights. And what they're violating right now is your civil rights.
And my parental rights, they said.
Well, that's all part of the civil rights. Yes.
Okay. And so then they wrote back in their appeal, and their reference and their reply to the brief was, well, the father told a lie. So how do we not? And then the father was.
What lie? Right. What lie are they saying that you said a lie?
Because whenever they came to see the kids that first time, I told them that the kids were in the car with the babysitter, not the mother at first. But then After that, they found out it was the mother, not the babysitter, and so that's the lie they're referring to. That I lied to him about the mother being around the kids. But I thought at that time that was my first time ever having a restraining order against somebody, and I thought if I allowed her to be there, then why can't she be there? I didn't know how all this worked before.
That's true. That's true. I mean,
and it was also that I had the restraining order dropped and it was dismissed prior to this. So because they haven't had the minute order saying that it was dismissed, that's why they said that I lied to them. And
do you know do you know who your congressman or woman is? Your representative or your senator in your area?
Yeah, Kevin McCarthy, I think.
Right. What you need to do is you need to contact their office, because I hate to say it, this is going to become a political matter. I'm sorry it has become a political matter, but you need politics involved to flush this out. I think Governor Newsom would help you. You know, and your Congressman McCarthy should help you. As they say, you can hit all the people at once. You can hit the Supreme Court. You could hit Governor Newsom. You hit the Councilman McCarthy and have them all go there. Have you been in touch with Vincent Davis at all about this?
Not recently. He was involved in the first case that I had with the mom, but not the second one because I couldn't afford it the second time. I already, spent a lot of money on the first case. So,
I know that. It's just that he has fought CPS and sued them and won. I mean, his reputation is, and he goes to other states. He'll go to Northern California as well as Southern California. He'll go to all the other states. But he's a fighter. He's a trial attorney, and I'm surprised that he bailed out unless it was something about the money part. Maybe the retainer was too much for him to handle it.
No, I paid that full. Paid that full.
Yeah.
But it was that the judge was biased against him, and so he had said he had another lady that works for his office. I think her name was Jennifer, or Jennifer something, and she filled in for him. She was my attorney at that point, but that was for the first case, and then after that was all dismissed, and then we got the kids back. Then the new case happened when I found out that she was abusing animals, and then the case CPS got involved, and they took it from me and her. When they took it from her, and they refused to give them to me because they said I lied on the previous case.
Yeah, let me speak. Yeah, we have a person that's texted in called Haley Temo, and she asked, "Where's the video?" Well, I don't have access to the video that he's referencing, but he has it on cam of the mother killing a cat, and that's the kind of abuse is. I'm looking these comments from Haley Temo. I don't know what city or state she's from. She says, "Where's the evidence?" It sounds like there's a lot of evidence, and it's not hearsay. Everything I've heard is not hearsay. Yes, it is from you saying it, but you have the documentation. And I know who Vincent Davis is. I know what kind of attorney he is. And where is the mother today? She's taken a side that the mother is okay. She says the mother is broke, busted, and disgusted. Okay, Haley's from Texas. All right. Haley, the mother from Texas.
She's going to be going to prison the 14th of March.
What is?
The mother's she's going to be going to sentencing on the 14th of March for her charges.
And then where are the kids going to be placed then?
They're still in foster care. They've been in foster care since May 1st.
They will not put them with you because you lied?
No, because they said because I lied on the previous case, and they don't trust me, so they don't think that I'll protect them. And I was like, how was that? And then they said that it would be detrimental to their health.
That is what they're doing. CPS is illegal child trafficking. They are a child trafficking agency, and it's so bad because whether I'm talking about Bakersfield or York, Pennsylvania, or out in Maine, or Milton, Florida, or Houston, Texas, or even the Rosebud Reservation in South Dakota, the Lakota Sioux. I mean, these are places that I've talked from people, and it's bad everywhere. CPS has got out of hand, and it isn't just locally. It isn't just California. It's there. It's worldwide because I heard from a gentleman in Sydney, Australia. I've heard from Nova Scotia, Canada, from a lady up there having a terrible time with CPS, and I spoke to someone from Kent in the United Kingdom. And the last person I spoke to was from another country, was Ghana, and um, it's prevalent everywhere that the CPS thinks they're more powerful than anybody. And I hate to put the burden of you that contact the governor, the Congress people, the Supreme Court of California, but you may have to do that. Um, I mean, the last resort is to contact the President of the United States and the Supreme Court of the United States. And it doesn't hurt to send.
I don't get.
It doesn't hurt to
I don't
send
understand
letters.
that.
You know,
Okay.
it doesn't hurt because I have gone to the governor before for an issue. Governor Duke Jamaican, who lived in my area where I lived, and I went to him and he got Lieutenant Mike Curb, to help me out. And all I was asking for is a girl that I was dating that time had finished her college education and they're holding up her physical therapy license. And I asked, well, when's it going to happen? No one's telling me anything. So I didn't waste time. I just went straight to the governor. And then Lieutenant Curb, contacted me and we got her certificate within 24 hours. I'm trying to tell you, you have to sometimes go to the top. I've gone to the top of a lot of matters. I mean, I've been a CEO myself, but one time I was having trouble with my bank. I went to Ken Lewis at Bank of America, the old CEO of Bank of America. And so sometimes you have to do that. Sometimes you have to go and be a fighter and you have to go to it. I mean, all you have to do is look at this guy, Donald Trump, fighting 91 cases. I mean, granted, he has more money than you and I have, but he's a fighter. He's a fighter. And, there are people in this world that are fighters like that. And sometimes you have to go there, you have to be respectful, and you have to do it per proper protocol. But it sounds like Bakersfield is very, very, very corrupt, especially if Vincent Davis, who I know has won lawsuits against the CPS, couldn't do it, which surprises me. I don't know. I'll have to talk to him to see what he has to say. But that really
And also another thing was that they when they try to say that I would be detrimental to their mental health. Well, since they've been in foster care, I have a little boy who's 7 and a little girl who's 4. My daughter and my son have been split up, put back together, split up again, put back together, split up. Now they've been permanently split up, and my son's been kicked in the balls so bad he was in the hospital peeing out blood. My daughter had pneumonia. They've been abused by the foster parents so badly. My son was left in a car while it was 116 degrees outside while he was FaceTiming me with no water, no parents in the car, just all the other kids in the foster care, that foster home he was in. We're all in the car. The windows were down. I get that, but still, it's 116 degrees outside. My son's crying. He's thirsty, and you guys are not in the car. You guys are grocery shopping, and you guys are telling me I'm a bad parent.
Yeah. Hey, look, I've gone over my time, and I need to end the show.
Okay.
I'm not trying to cut you short, but I would invite you to call me back and tell me your progress. Be on one of my other shows. I'm on twice a day, 7 days a week, and I'd love to help you.
Awesome.
I appreciate your service. When you served in our country to get it safe for us. I know what a military life is about. I'm sorry that your wife is going to prison, but she has to because cruelty to animals is against the law. I'm so sick that CPS is so vindictive, so, deceitful that they're doing this to you. Those kids are being hurt by CPS. They're illegally child trafficking. I don't care if they're a legitimate organization. They're supposed to protect our kids who neglect and abuse, but also do family reunification. What family reunification are they doing? Anyway, I want to thank all the people. I want to thank Haley Tamel from Texas. I'd like to know more about your case. You can call back again. And again, Tech, who is in Bakersfield, I hope that he's able to get his kids back. Early on, we had Arabella, and I never knew where she was from, but she had a case too. So, with all those people that are listening, we've had, a lot of people this morning. I want to thank you all for listening, and please fight to get your children back. And again, I'll see you tonight. Good luck in the new year. Much success and happiness. And this is Bob Pace. God bless you. And this is Bob Pace signing off.